Oh, this is really laggy because of the camera. So, oh, this is really slow. This is painful. Okay, so let's try to make this quick. So, Michaela, Tom, Harry. Sorry, everyone. You were in the middle. I lumped you in. Okay, so we started off last week looking at two categorical variables together. So you had a frequency table and the percentages. Earlier this week, well, no, today I should say, we looked at categorical versus numerical. For the rest of the term, it's numerical versus numerical. So the situation that we have here is we have two variables x and y, and what we want to do is say, can I make some prediction for y based on the value of x? So we will spend some time fitting a straight line to this data. So this should look familiar if you were in the class last year. Now, we need to be clear which variable is the explanatory variable and which one is the response variable. If you were in my class last year, you should know. So where does the EV go? X. X is correct. All right, so as I said last time, if I'm the scientist doing an experiment, the variable that I'm changing, that's the explanatory variable or the independent variable. The one that I'm observing, that's the response variable or the dependent variable. So remember, the response variable or the RV always goes on the y-axis. Okay? So in the first part of the next exercise, 2D, they'll give you some scenarios and they'll ask you to identify the explanatory and response variable. The other thing that you'll be asked to do is to create a scatter plot using the CAS calculator. Now, if you were in my class last year, you already know how to do this. But if you're new to general maths, this will be something that you haven't done before. So I invite you to take your CAS calculators out, and we're going to create a scatter plot. So head over to the main menu and create a new document. And if you're prompted to save, just say no, you'll lose your work. All right. Once you've created a new document, you're going to want to go to option number 4. This one says lists and spreadsheets. Lists and spreadsheet. Okay? Now, I don't know if you can see that very well. So all I want you to do is put in some random data, okay? Oops, not that. So type into a cell and press enter. That'll put the data in. If anyone's having issues with this, I can help you afterwards. Okay, so make sure every row has 2 values. No row should have 1 value on its own. And what I want you to do is just hover your mouse over the very top row where the capital letters are and just give it a name. So I'm not very creative, so I'm just going to call this AAA. I know. And I'm going to call this BBB. So I want you all to make sure that you give your variables a name because this will make it easier when you create your scatter plot. Okay? It doesn't matter what numbers you use, this will become clear in a moment. So, which one do you want to be the explanatory variable? Okay, so Kaylin has... we've got two different opinions.
Well, I said it first, therefore we do it.
Okay.
Let's take your vote. Let's go with D.
There's no answer. This is some random example that I've cooked up, okay? All right, we're going to create the scatter plot. The keyboard shortcut is Control I. So press Control I. And that didn't work. Hang on.
Are you sure it's Control I, sir?
Yes. Control I, and this time go to Data and Statistics. This will create a new page. All right, just to be different, we'll put B on the x-axis.
Wow.
So I just realized I did this without you, so I'll go back. I'll go back to the other page. So when you're in your spreadsheet, Control I, Data and Statistics. Initially, your data is going to look like this. You'll notice on the side and on the bottom, there's some text saying, click to add variable. This is why it was important to give your variable a name. So click on it, and then choose the variable that you want. So when you put in real data, this will be height, or weight, or length. Okay. This is called, all right, you're 12s, because you're year 12 now. What is this called?
Scatterplots.
Scatterplots. This is correct, all right? So you must know how to produce a scatterplot. You will produce several of these during the SAC. Speak up, Jason. Yep, that's coming next week. Yeah, so that's coming later. Okay? It'll be too much to do it all now. Yeah. You've done it before, but not everyone in this room has. Okay? All right. Thank you, everyone. You may now continue with what you were doing. We have now covered 2C and 2D. We'll start 2E on Friday. Yep.